This is Crimey Queen. If you're joining us for the first time, this is the channel where we get excited by love. We get ignited through that which dwells within us, and that which makes us come alive, and that which ignites us. Hence, we say the crimson light is live. So I have just completed a presentation on numerology and how it works, and just sharing with you how I make sense of the words, sorry, the letters and their numerical values, how I memorize them. And so I saw something, and this must have been devised for people like myself. That's all I can say, because I became very curious as to why that I could feel the need to change these columns to form words, of course, and that I would be able to make sense of them. And it didn't seem very necessary to do that on this side at all, which is the right side facing me. Then it would seem like why you're often told to take the right side, right is right, So I thought I'd quickly Google H. In fact, the intention was to do HQ, because just to confirm to myself that it really means water, as in the presentation. But I thought I'd just go along HQZ as hair, and I was astonishingly surprised to see that it actually means an extension file for Apple Macintosh, and which is free as well. It says a free file extension. So this is where you, of course, you can store images and documents and all that sort of thing. And I thought that was very interesting, that it should really come under what I call headquarters, and the number 8. So they also, of course, have broken down the the letters and showing H as, of course, it's a ladder, it's turn, it's steady, and we have Q. Now, in conjunction with their definition for Q, um, I thought I would just really go with my description of Q. It's like, you're about to birth a newness, a new thing. And if we were like my original Q was like this, so you have completed the eighth journey, the eighth path, and you are actually seeping out after you have done this hard work or whatever it is. You have gone into yourself and you are birthing new ideas. This is where you are able to identify yourself, and you say, I, with um, that completeness, that sacred completion, I, or I are. In fact, IR reminds me about IR. It came to mind, the Inland Revenue. So, so you can actually have see that, okay, you are birthing, that new cycle is ending. You've completed that, and you are taking into account your taxes, the inland revenue. You are taking into account your journey and saying, okay, this really completes the whole cycle altogether. Okay, I hope you find this fun. Yeah, and so I thought that was very interesting. So the other thing that I found very interesting with this, as I say, that's what got me curious, that I didn't feel the need to change any of these positions, the letters here and their positions, but with two, not two actually, 1, 3, and 4. Of course, I did on 4 as well, and 5. But what I am getting from this is the life cycle, when we are growing, whether it's one, whatever it is we're doing, we're exploring. And I thought I would come up with jazz, like jazz. We are really in a musical zone and just doing jazz. Okay. And of course, with buckets, we buckets and water, we play and mess around, and if we're lucky, of course, with luck, that determines, because there we define events or the outcome of all events as luck or unlucky. So luck plays a role there. But with all of these events and developments, well, whatever we do, we see them as they help us develop the developments into um, seeing things in a new way, in a new way. Okay. And this new way, of course, when we have devised those new ways, we think, or we tend to believe we're very smart, we're clever, and we become foxes. We like the fox. We try to outwit people, we try to um, really see ourselves as the smarter one. But then, of course, we discover this is not always the case. We may seek for guidance through the gypsy or a looking glass, whatever we go, wherever we go for this, we may seek to do that. So, of course, in our experiments, but these are not just experiments. I think when we get to foxes, we know that we need to just sort of because seven, in fact, just remind me this. We need to relax and take things a bit easy, and maybe that's what the gypsy message is about. They just relax and travel and just learn through traveling and not really not really get too worried about other things like we tend to do. And so, with the number seven as well, when we say we travel or we take a rest, or when we go to sleep, we travel in our minds as well. So, although we are resting or taking our Sabbath, we still travel to some dimension, different dimensions. And of course, in those dimensions, we end up in different HQ quarters, high quarters. We end up in different zones. There, Z for zones. We do that, and of so with nine, we take into account the our inland revenue, our inland. What happens within us, the revenues that we have gained and the revenues that we have to dispose. Um, this is really interesting, I thought, on a spiritual account, whether it was physical or spiritual. This is what we do. Um, you know, we check our revenues. And so we go through that cycle, but it seemed like we are very much needing to be in on hinging on Christ in that sense, the Christ spirit, where is new. So we could just say what's new is really Christ, crimson, the crimson light. Yes, the crimson light. So as this develops, some of course, I'm getting new meaning, new and new hair. I'm getting new meaning, and it's just feeling nice. It's delicious. I thought I would share that with you. Okay, so I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope you have found it fun, because fun is what we do here, and love, self-full love. So let's see how we can use this information to recognizing ways of, loving ourselves more, that we can be so resourceful that we can see ourselves with self-full love, self-full love. we become new, and we become creative. Just to round up with the numbers here again, um, of course, I will be exploring more on this pattern here, perhaps in the next because we have to do this in threes, don't we? Of course. Yeah. So we need to, this is where we start a new list, a new cycle. We join partnership with the bucket, whatever it is we're doing. We become creative, and seeing how we our luck strikes, although, so the Trinity, how the Trinity really functions in us, body, soul, and spirit, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. So we study this, and we go through this personal development. The personal development, we are looking for security. So number 4 is really a number of security, firmness, firm structure, and that sort of thing. And 5, we, of course, when we are feeling with this structure in our lives, we tend to feel secure, and we take things a little bit easy then because we feel safe. But in that safeness, of course, this is when things often happen, and then we have to start looking at things in a new way. So, and this is when we tend to turn to Christ, we turn to Buddha, we turn to other religious figures, and to find, a sense of alignment, a sense of um, grounding. Okay, grounding, which reminds me with Jesus, opening our third eye and standing on the ground, our feet. That's a good exercise to have, actually. Stand on the ground, bare feet, and meditate on the third eye. Just a few minutes. This is really good. Okay. And of course, the number of man, we are really trying. There, we really get a sense in a foxy way, in a foxy way, how, making sense of our world. I'm thinking, yeah, of course, like the fox, we tend to hibernate, go somewhere. At this stage, we don't really want to be too bombarded, although this is news, but everything I'm seeing a parallel here with the fox, So the fox is either busy tearing down whatever food it can get or whatever, but we can find that need. We probably, with that kind of news and whatever it is we are eating or feeding ourselves on, if you like, or minds, or spirit, or bodies, of course, with news which has been reflected here, because we are often trying to, again, see how we can progress, because that's how we are designed to progress. And with 7, as I said, we going to rest until in our rest, through dreams and visions and different realms, we go and we find the headquarters. This is interesting. So after we have got these dreams and visions and all of that, we think, okay, what do I need to pay to the tax man or something like that? And it's really saying, I just had a eureka. This is wonderful. Matthew, in of the 4 Gospels, comes to 9. I did this. Inland revenue. Inland revenue. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Okay. These are things that are so delicious. It's like, what do I do with it? you know, I want to really savor this, but I'm really recording a presentation. This is lovely, of course. I've got to go back to this. Yes, the inland revenue. So that means that is indicating That is indicating there must be a correlation in the letters, in the columns, with each of the four Gospels. Amazing. I'm going to check this out. I'm going to check this out. Okay, okay, we will. Okay, we will. Yes, we will. All right. So, headquarters. I love when these things happen. I just love them. They just, you know, and I hope I don't have. So, anyway, I was just saying this is where we check on nine, like Christ's death, for instance. How much um how much do we have to pay? It's like the hair we got the sense that Christ died paying for our sins. When you get to nine, how much are you prepared to pay? When you are working on a project, for example, how much are you willing to give of yourself to see the completion of that project? So, for instance, when I was writing the Crimson Light, I honestly had no idea that it I would be paying as much. I use the term pay because I believe that that is the easiest way of understanding it. It's like how much are you willing to give up to attain that which you want to require, or how much? And that's what the inland revenue is about. Okay. All right, all right. Okay. Let's not get carried away here. Of course, we may have to come back to this and review it. So, I leave you with this. It's so much food for thought. Okay. And if you have enjoyed this presentation, please remember to click the like button. Although we are about love, but it is the like button you're going to get. So please click the like button. Do share, because this is how we do it. We actualize self love through sharing. So stay bright, stay ignited till we meet again. Okay. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you.